The one problem that we have is that we often confuse, with research that is, right, we often confuse measurement, right, with research. Now, I think these are quite two different things, right? Research is this banner. But what we're doing two things. We're measuring. So, we use, fairly basic instruments like, questionnaires, if you like, asking people, what are you aware of? What have you done? What is your intention, etc., etc. So, especially in terms of behaviour and awareness, these are what we call we are measuring what people are saying and what they're doing. But then, right, and that's fine because we're capturing very, very rational, or we're capturing what people are doing, which is their actual behaviour. And that's fine. That instrument is perfect to capture that part of the consumer. But we're also employing very similar instruments and antenna to capture feelings. So, on the one hand, we're saying, are you aware of this list of different brands or products or whatever, so we can easily tick that off. But then we're also employing exactly the same method to understand their feelings. So please tell us how you're feeling. How much do you agree or disagree with this statement about your feelings, right? So the same instrument that we're using to measure the explicit and what is easy to capture, right, is the same instrument that we're using to capture something completely different, which are feelings. Now, this is not really the best way to do things. The best way to do things is to say, right, there's measurement and there is insight and understanding. Right? We can't employ exactly the same tools to measure both because they're not the same thing at all. So we need to employ different tools. brandOdyssey, again, is a system of tools which is a way of understanding beyond measurement, right? Beyond measurement, what people are feeling. And my philosophy of research is that there are really two really important things that we need to understand. One is what people do, their behaviour, the measurement, very, very important, because ultimately that's what we're trying to understand and predict and change. But the other thing we need to understand are the deep needs and desires. See, we need to understand the two extremes, the most explicit, which is our behaviour, and the most implicit, which are our feelings and our needs. What is misleading marketing a lot of the time is this middle ground where it's tell us what you think and feel about your own perceptions and behaviour, etc. Now that's middle ground, right? Now sometimes that can be fruitful, but often it's a very, very muddy area. We're not sure if we're capturing rational expressions, or if we're capturing rationalizations, or if we're capturing lies, right? Unconscious lies that consumers tell because they don't know why they behave the way that they do. We don't all understand our feelings. We understand very few of our feelings, right? With brandOdyssey, we separate those two and say, right, these are two different things. We measure both, but we employ different rules and different instruments in order to capture each of those separately.